You got him four abreast, often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show under the world of outlaws.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome tonight to the Dre Broadcasting Network as we go side by side with the Precision Racing League. Tonight we have a special treat right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway after having a heck of a race 2 weeks ago. That was because we took a break there for Christmas and New Year, what PRL did, and that was Michigan International to this track, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, first race of 2018 by the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series round number 4 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I'm your commentator Sean Zulu, and joining me up in the Dre Broadcasting booth is David Everly. How are you doing tonight, Dave?
Doing good. How you doing, Sean?
I am doing good too, thank you. Just ready to go get back into the groove of things here with the PRL after once again that 2-week break, and these drivers were able to celebrate and also get ready for tonight's race. And speaking of tonight's, Dave, what are we dealing with?
Taking a look at the weather, it's 72 degrees, track temperature of 101, wind out of the southwest to 11 mile an hour.
Yeah, that track temp is a little bit on the high side here. It is not the worst and not the best either, but it will have to do for tonight. And the drivers have full tanks here, and the track is 1.5 miles in length. That is 1.50 miles. Just a recap from last race, we had round number 3 at Michigan International 2 weeks ago. In that race, we had Daniel Wilborn bring it home. He's one of the aliens, and Daniel Wilborn representing the Overclock Motorsports team. Johnny Pierce came out second. Dustin Hall, and Johnny Pierce is with Simtech Racing. Dustin Hall came out third. Simtech Racing driver as well. Cotton Lane came out fourth. Overclock Motorsports driver Ken Caruthers came out 5th. He represents Ironic Sim Racing. Dale Robertson came out 6th with Simtech Racing. James O'Brien came out 7th with Road Trip Racing. Stephen Harry came out 8th with Overclock Motorsports. Craig Hawkins came out 9th with Blown Gasket Racing. Chris Perez came out 10th, rounding up the top 10 with the Road Trip Racing team. And that was the top 10 from Michigan International, round number 3. And moving on to our current point standings, ladies and gentlemen, currently still leading in points is Johnny Pierce. Johnny Pierce, once again, Simtech driver James O'Brien second in points, only 2 points behind Johnny Pierce for first place. Dale Robertson third place in points with the Simtech Racing team, only 3 points behind James O'Brien for second place in points. Craig Hawkins fourth place in points with the Blown Gasket Racing team, once again only 1 point behind Dale Robertson for third place. Kyle Souza 5th place in points with Overclock Motorsports. We have Stephen Harry, 6th place in points with Overclock Motorsports as well. So 2 Overclock Motorsports drivers, 5th and 6th here. That is impressive to see. Paul D. Johnson, Road Trip Racing driver, 7th place in points. And Paul D. Johnson is actually tied with John LaBeouf for points. So Paul D. Johnson here, Road Trip Racing. John LaBeouf, No Fear Racing. Both drivers tied for 7th place in points. Only 1 point behind Stephen Harry in 6th. Josh Mayu 8th in points with Ford Lane Group, Ford Entertainment Group. That's going to be Josh Mayu, Ford Entertainment Group. Cotton Lane 9th in points with Overclock Motorsports. And Dustin Hall 10th place in points with the Simtech Racing team, and he has his teammate right behind him in 11th place in points. That is Eddie Hawks, Simtech Racing driver as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, these points are very, very close. This is round number 4. Only 4 races in, well, 3 races complete, and tonight's race being the 4th race in the point standings. Well, going here to tonight's race, we are currently qualifying, or the drivers are qualifying. We have about 20 seconds before qualifying ends, but our pole sitter here is currently the 9 of James O'Brien. And ladies and gentlemen, please type it up in the chat, say something, get active. And I'm going to give a couple of shout outs here to the viewers who have typed in the chat, so let us know what's on your mind. Say hello. We have D. Crenshaw, D. LaBeouf, that is one of the drivers here. John LaBeouf's wife, D. LaBeouf, is in the hospital here as we speak, but she's there in the chat. She is cheering on John LaBeouf and the Dre Broadcasting Network and PRL. D. LaBeouf, we hope you're doing well, hope you're doing better. And here's to a speedy recovery. We also have Mikey, that's going to be Mickey Riddle. Yeah, Mickey Riddle, welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network, Mickey. Hope you're doing well. I guess that's pronounced Mikey. Yeah, Mikey. I do apologize, but once again, welcome and hope you're doing well. And so far seems to be all who typed in the chat. So please say something, get active in there. Well, it looks like we are now gridding, so we are going to give the drivers a few seconds before we go down the starting grid. Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, our pole sitter here tonight is the 9 of James O'Brien, who is second place in points. The 00 of Kyle Souza starting second. The 14 of Paul D. Johnson third. The 99 of Brandon Walter fourth. We have the 77 of Ken Caruthers fifth, rounding up the top 5. The 60 of Cotton Lane starting sixth. The 41 of Chris Perez, 7th. 11 of Brandon Massey, 8th. The 37 of Dustin Hall, 9th. The 6 of Steven Mattox, 10th. We have the 13 of Sean Timmerman. Sean Timmerman here is back with us after unfortunately having an accident about 2 weeks ago, but he is back here tonight. It is great to see him. We hope to catch up with him here before the race is over tonight, but he is starting 11th. We have the 3 Dale Robertson, 12th. The 33 of David Dreckman, 13th. The 29 of Matthew Cisna, 14th. That's 45 of Eddie Hawks, 15th. 9-11 of John LaBaff, 16th. The 27 of Danny Duchesne, 17th. The 61 of Josh Mayu, 18th. Eric Roberts, 19th. And Stephen Harry in the 20th place position. Trevor White, 21st. Rory Collins, 22nd. 78 of Ronald McManus, 23rd. David Phillips, 24th. Stephen Walter, Zach York, Craig Hawkins, and Cole Woody rounding up the rest of the field, giving us about 26 drivers starting tonight's race here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And looking there in the chat, Mikey did ask Mikey did ask how many laps. This is 130 laps. That is 130 laps. It is a long way to go and a lot to be accomplished. And Patrick York in the chat. Welcome back, Patrick York. Hope you're doing well. And Patrick York rooting for the 19 of Zachary York. Well, here up front, exiting turn 4, going green for the first time, this time around, round number 4. And the pace car is going to dip off here before too long. Yes, pace car off the track. James O'Brien controlling the pace of the field. The green flag is out, and James O'Brien finds the gas pedal. Right behind him, accompanying him is a 14 of Paul D. Johnson, the 00 outside line. Kyle Souza caught sleeping. And as a result, he's going to go from second place to fourth place here in one lap, in one turn for that matter, before turn number 1. And this is lap number 1 of round number 4 here, Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, still early in the season, but these guys know points matter this season. These guys will have a playoff system in effect, so they are definitely trying to get up there to get into the playoffs here. The Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series is they have now completed 2 laps of 130.
Yep, and this track is one of the greatest tracks, actually one of my personal favorite tracks. It reminds me of Charlotte a lot. You know, heavy banking there in these turns, which does help these machines rotate at the exact same time, so much grip. This track is known as a multi-groove racetrack, or it can be at least in the long run. And so far, a lot of single file going on, but some drivers still battling, trying to take while they can, because once these tires start to go away, a lot of single file will be pretty much the way to go, because passing is going to become difficult. The 3 of Dale Robertson on the inside of 37 of Dustin Hall side by side on the exit of turn 2 and entering turn 3. And some more side by side for about 6th place on back. We have here the 60, Cotton Lane, 41, Chris Perez. In this mix, we have Sean Timmerman and the 11 of Brandon Massey. Brandon Massey had some bad luck last race we had. He ended up having to retire early for the evening, and that was at Michigan for round number 3. Hoping to have a heck of a better race here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So far, going to the inside of 41 of Chris Perez. Chris Perez on the outside line, high and dry so far. Just trying to take it easy, trying to buy his time. Because once again, with the new update here in iRacing, with the new tire model, tires do go away a lot quicker.
Yeah, I mean, so they kind of got to get settled in here, because I think especially if we get a long green flag run, we're going to have tire management and pit strategy is definitely going to be key.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of that pit strategy, these drivers expected to pit in at least twice in order to be able to make it the full length of the way, 130 laps. And at this point, we have 125 laps to go and 6 laps complete. And for the back in this pack 94 of Stephen Harry is being approached from the rear end by 45 of Eddie Hawks. At the exact same time, Harry is approaching the rear end of 29 of Matthew Cisna. So far, Matthew Cisna, David Dreckman, these drivers are already trying to start making the outside line work. The outside line is not the place to be just yet, but the longer the run goes on, the more it will come to life, and a lot more drivers taking while they can. Once again, those tires will go away before too long if the drivers don't play it smart, don't play it safe. And for the back in this pack 27 of Danny Duchesne under fire from the 28 of Eric Roberts. And already we have a new top 5. James O'Brien still leading, Paul D. Johnson second, Ken Caruthers third, 00 of Kyle Souza fourth, and 99 of Brandon Walter rounding up the top 5 this far. And here at 29 on the outside line, Matthew Cisna trying to make a power move against 45 of Eddie Hawks. They still stay side by side, but Slingshot engaged off the exit of turn 4 against Eddie Hawks by Matthew Cisna and clears Eddie Hawks before turn number 1, and now his next victim here being the 33 of David Dreckman for 14th. And also just some, for the new viewers out there, a little bit of information from last season. Last season we were able to crown a new champion here with the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series season number 7. The champion was the 48 of Markel Murphy, but unfortunately he is not racing this season, does not seem like. So last season's champion, this season's defending champion. And also here at the PRL, they do have something that they call a team championship. And last season, season 8 team champions were Jeffrey Ford, Stephen Mattox, Zachary York, and Cotton Lane. They were all representing the Ford Lane Motorsports team. Once again, Ford Lane Motorsports team with Jeffrey Ford, Stephen Mattox, Zachary York, and Cotton Lane. But here so far, going up about the team standings, team championships, gonna go over them here. So far we have... Yep, so far we have Simtech Racing leading in points. Overclock Motorsports is second in points. Road Trip Racing is third in points. Ford Entertainment Group Motorsports, so that just changed from last season. So it was Ford Lane Motorsports team last season, and this season they are Ford Entertainment Group Motorsports, and they are 4th in the team championships standings. Aeronix Sim Racing 5th place. Nofia Racing 6th. And Blown Gasket Racing 7th in points. And so far only 7 teams are competing for the team championship standings here in season 8 this far. Well, going back to the race, here we have for the back in this pack 61 of Josh Mayu. We have 77 Ken Caruthers, 55 of Stephen Walter, 19 of Zachary York. Single file so far, and Zachary York has come from 25th place spot to 19th this far and climbing, and his next victim now being the 27 of Danny Duchesne for 18th. And Dave, we always see it time and time again. A lot of drivers who start in the back of the pack still find themselves up in the front of the pack in the later stage of the race. You know, these drivers, most of them believe starting in the back might be the way to go as a way to avoid trouble and have enough reaction time to stay away from trouble. And some decide to start up front like James O'Brien, Paul D. Johnson, Sean Timmerman. These drivers might believe starting up front is a way to stay out of trouble, because if a wreck happens behind them, that will not affect them whatsoever. But usually when it comes down to it, it's all about being at the right place at the right time. And for the back in this pack, 78 of Ronald McManus here is riding behind the 35 of Rory Collins. And Rory Collins applying pressure to the 23 of Craig Hawkins, at least he was. And Craig Hawkins status check, his machine has sustained some right front damage. And turn 2 is something to watch out for here tonight. And here with only 16 laps into tonight's race, I'm kind of seeing some drivers getting loose. The machines are starting to kick out. The 13 Sean Timmerman goes sideways off the exit of turn 4. He smacks the wall. Oh, is he going to save it? Yes, he saves it. All speed, all momentum lost. And a bunch of spots lost by Sean Timmerman. Very, very unfortunate. Hopefully he has a great recovery here before too long. But that damage is most likely going to affect the top end of the machine and the rotation at the exact same time. Oh, contact between him and the 94. He goes off the track. He's spinning into the wall. He smacks it. And he's spinning off the track on the apron.
Well, let's pull up the Dre broadcast and replay. We were going to watch the previous incident. Let's watch this last one here, see if we can see exactly what happened here. Is we are going to focus on Sean Timmerman. Contact between him and Stephen Harry, and he goes down, as you said, right into the inside there. That's really unfortunate, but these guys don't have no quick fixes, but he's able to get it down there. We stay green flag racing.
Absolutely, man. Very unfortunate for the 13 of Sean Timmerman having to go down pit road to get that damage fixed. His pit crew is going to be hard at work trying to get that machine back up to speed. But the good thing about that is the machine is still running, but a lot of front-end damage like that would result in not enough air cooling the motor. And as a result, a lot of drivers hear a big loud boom later on in the race. But going back up front, 9 of James O'Brien still in the lead and now having a 1.5 second lead against second place driver 14 of Paul D. Johnson.
Yeah, last season these guys went from a fixed setup to an open setup. So these guys, everyone having different setups, but it looks like James O'Brien has got his car dialed in, as he's already out to a commanding lead, 1.7 seconds over Paul D. Johnson. Paul D. Johnson, though, he has got a gap of, it looks like, 1.6 seconds over third place, which is going to be the 60 of Colton Lane.
Oh yeah, when it comes down to it, the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, the drivers, every time we interview them, they talk about how their machines are set up for the most part for the long run. And right now is when these drivers, it's their time to shine, basically. As we see right now, like David talked about, James O'Brien and Paul D. Johnson pulling away from a lot of the drivers for the back in the pack. The long run is what these drivers like, and Paul D. Johnson's machine getting loose. There on the exit of turn number 40, he was able to keep the machine straight for the most part, so no harm done, but being shown now 1.9 seconds behind James O'Brien. That just went up about 0.4 of a second against him that time due to his looseness of the exit of turn 4. So now a lot of drivers are going to have to start changing up either their racing lines or their driving styles.
Well, 22 laps into the race, so probably here in the next 10 to 15 laps, we should start seeing some green flag pit stops here as we are approaching 108 laps left in the race.
Yep, still a long way to go. And you know, Dave, the good thing about the drivers having a good first run is that they'll better be able to, you know, oh, we have a driver spinning on the apron. Caution flies out 7-8 of Ron McManus, I believe.
Well, as we pull up the Dre broadcasting replay, it looks like that might be the 77 of Ken Carruthers. So we're going to focus on Ken Carruthers right now, see if we can see exactly what happened. Because it looks like he was battling 3 cars there. That looks... taking a look here, coming through turns 3 and 4. Looks like that car just broke loose there. And he went spinning on the track enough to bring out our first caution of the night.
Oh, absolutely. Very unfortunate for Ken Caruthers, but man, that definitely could have been worse. So nice save by him and everybody else around him. Great awareness and not making that worse than it actually was. And also had an incident there. 78 of Ron McManus did lose control on the apron. But that did not bring out the caution. That was not the cause of that. Now, no harm was done to Ron McManus. And also nice save once again by Ken Caruthers. But going back up front, we are still being led by James O'Brien, who at this moment is now leading everybody down pit road with 24 laps in. And looking there in the chat, we have Kundai Musk. Welcome back, Kundai. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while. Oh, no, don't worry, man. You made it just in time. And also Mikey rooting for the 9 of James O'Brien here tonight. And sorry I didn't see that earlier. But yep, Mikey rooting for the 9 of James O'Brien. No idea why that's so difficult for me to pronounce Mikey and not Mickey. But James O'Brien is able to lead off pit road after still leading on pit road. And behind him, Poe D. Johnson, Carlton Lane comes out 3rd. Kyle Souza still 4th. And John LaBeouf was able to move up 1 spot, overtaking the 99 of Brandon Walter. And scanning the whole entire field here this far, everybody decided to take 4 tires with full tanks of gas, which is about 14 seconds and above.
Well, we did have one driver. That's Rory Collins. Looks like he may have stayed out, but he has taken over the race leader. Maybe, yep, he is staying out with 25 laps on his tire. He's going to get that bonus point for leading a lap.
Yeah, most definitely great job to Rory Collins. He does always keep a low profile there in the beginning. And he'll be going, most likely will be going down pit road once he takes a race lead over, which he just did. So right there, this lap officially. But if he does not go down pit road the next time around, that will be his final chance, basically. And having 25 laps more on your tires is never a good thing, especially when it comes to a track like this, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And some drivers who stayed out, just like Rory Collins, did go down pit road this time by, namely, Steven Mattox, including Ronald McManus. And the status check on the 13 of Sean Timmerman. Sean Timmerman is on pit road as we speak, being shown 2 laps down with his pit crew hard at work trying to get that machine back up and running. Yes, and hopefully they're able to accomplish that. And looking there in the chat, we have a new viewer. And that's going to be Gavink20 Gaming. Welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network. Gav, I'm just going to say Gav because I have a feeling I'm pronouncing that name wrong. So Gav, welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network. And he is here for the 94 of Stephen Harry. Yeah, if you have not yet already, ladies and gentlemen, type it up, get active in the chat, let us know what's on your mind, say hello, just say something. And speaking of Sean Timmerman now rolling off pit road as we speak. And also, Rory Collins gave up the race lead to go down pit road. Great strategy, trying to play it safe and be on the same strategy as everybody else and not be a sitting duck or a roadblock out there. And James O'Brien takes back the race lead. We are now back 1 to green. So James O'Brien, Coton Lane on the inside line, 1st and 2nd on the outside line, is being led by 14 of Poe D. Johnson with the help of the 00 of Kyle Souza. We are going green. We also have Nick in the chat. That's going to be Nick Tronzo. Welcome to Dre Broadcasting Network there, Nick. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. And heaviest movers here this far, new drivers to the top 10, namely John LaBeouf and Rory Collins, both new to the top 5. But I believe, yeah, Rory Collins ended up getting shuffled back after pitting in the last lap, 1 lap ago. We are exiting turn 4, going green. The pace car dips off James O'Brien, still holding that pace speed. He finds that gas pedal, gets a very good restart against everybody else, and leaves a butt of second place between 60 of Cotton Lane and the 14 of Paul D. Johnson, side by side, entering turn 1 this time around. And 60 of Cotton Lane does edge out 14 of Paul D. Johnson. Because he was on the inside line, the inside is always the place to be on starts and restarts. The outside line never the place to be on a start or restart. And 14 of Johnson is going to be trying to get that spot back here before too long. And for the back in this pack behind him, 37 of Dustin Hall side by side on the inside of 00 of Kyle Souza.
Not sure what happened, but the 11 of Brandon Massey, he's down in the grass. Let's pull up the instant replay here. See if we can see what happened to the 11 of Brandon Massey. Is he was caught mowing the grass there on the front stretch in his number 11 My Little Pony machine. So coming out, it looks like he was just running. Oh, maybe a little contact or net code, but he went down through the grass. I tell you what, good job by him keeping it off pit road so he didn't get hit with a speeding penalty and keeping that car straight and keeping us green flag racing.
Oh, absolutely, man. That's a save and a half right there. Very commendable. Nice save once again by Brandon Massey. Green flag racing. As a result, Brandon Massey trying to play catch-up in the 24th place spot. His next victim being the 78 of Ronald McManus. So he's going to be trying... At this point, he's most likely hoping for a caution to get him back up there with everybody else. And some more viewers tuning into the chat. We have Antonio Santiago. Welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network, Antonio. Hope you're doing well. And also Dale Pico in the chat. Welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network. And we hope you're doing well as well.
Tell you what, we got a battle up here between Colton Lane, John LaBeouf, Paul D. Johnson. Second, third, and fourth here is Paul D. Johnson and John LaBeouf keep switching spots.
Oh, indeed, yeah. And Johnson is trying to get the second place spot against Cotton Lane, but having John LaBeouf applying that much pressure is making it extra difficult for that to be accomplished. And 9-11 John LaBeouf crossover was engaged on the exit of turn 2, textbook maneuver right there. And now side by side, pretty much just switched lanes. And John LaBeouf is pushing high. As a result, he lets off the gas to avoid getting into the 14 of Johnson. And that's going to benefit Johnson greatly.
Yeah, I mean, the thing of it is, you don't want to battle too much because you're really going to wear those tires.
Yeah, the driver's trying to play it smart. We saw the 13 of Sean Timmerman. He just got loose all of a sudden. Same case as 77 of Ken Caruthers. These machines, when it comes down to it in the long run, they do end up becoming very unpredictable. At the exact same time, we were coming to, it was 16 laps in. And basically, the more gas they burn, the lighter they become, which actually also contributes to the looseness that the machines end up having. So at the end of fuel runs, the machines get loose as well. So it's going to be double the looseness when it comes to tire wear, and the machines being extra light. And the drivers always being at the edge of their seats, trying to be able to counter that if it were to come down to such a situation. But here on the exit of turn number 460 of Cotton Lane made a mistake, and 14 of Johnson was going to pull him in slowly but surely before turn 1.
I tell you, some of our biggest movers right now is going to be the 55 machine of Stephen Walter. Stephen Walter started back in 24th position. He has moved all the way up into 14th. Then Trevor White, the 21, actually he just took over 10th position, but he had started back in 21st. So we've already got some heavy movers here moving their way to the front, Sean.
Oh, indeed, man. Speaking of the heavy movers, day 55 of Stephen Walter taking some names as we speak. He did start in the 24th place spot, currently in the 10th place spot, new to the top 10 actually, on the inside of 21 of Trevor White, but Slingshot engaged on the exit of turn 2 against him by Trevor White, and he cleared him successfully before the entrance to turn number 3 at the exact same time. 41 of Chris Perez sees a free lunch program against Stephen Walter with the help of the 21 of Trevor White, and now side by, oh, they make contact. Oh man, Chris Perez goes high, Walter stays low. Walter gains some right side damage, and Perez some left side damage, but no harm done. Still green flag racing. And that 94, Stephen Harry behind 55 of Stephen Walter. He is trying to push 55 of Walter past 41 of Chris Perez. At this point, it's all about working together for a common good, to try and outsmart your opponents when it comes down to it. They might not be from the same team, but they will still work together until it comes to the very end of the race, where every man is for themselves. And here as we speak, Stephen Harry behind 55 of Stephen Walter, who in turn is now behind 41 of Chris Perez, but Walter goes way too high enough for the inside of his inside to be occupied by the 94 of Stephen Harry, who gets around him. And Dave, before the first caution had come out, I was about to talk about how the driver is having a good first run, or I should say a great first long run, basically. At that point, they know what their machine is doing or how it's going to handle in the long run. And with that said, when they go down pit road, they can make the necessary changes. And that's one great thing about the drivers having open setups, is that they can make changes as they go throughout the whole entire race. And that's a very good thing, and this seems to have divided it's divided the teams quite a bit here so far this season and last season. You know, last season being the first time they had an open setup. So 19 of Zach York goes sideways off the exit of turn 2, but no harm done. Nice save, and still behind 61 of Josh Mayu. This is a roadblock right here in about 17th place. David Dreckman, 6 of Stephen Mattox, 19 Zachary York, and 61 of Josh Mayu. And so far, Josh Mayu is being able to keep the two drivers behind him, Zachary York and Stephen Mattox, who are battling. And Zachary York gets very, very flirty with the wall on the exit of turn 2, but no harm done. Still going nice and strong here, entering turn number 3. He is right in the middle lane, and the machine is quite squirrely. And same thing we talked about there early on, ladies and gentlemen. In the longer the race goes on, the machines do end up changing. You know, the track is changing, the track state is... Oh man, a driver off the track, 94 of Stephen Harry. Is he gonna save it? Yes, he saves it. We are still green flag racing. Oh man, Stephen Harry lost all his speed, all his momentum, a bunch of spots. He's gonna have to do it all over again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with about 43 laps in and only 88 laps remaining, we're going to take our first commercial break of the evening so we can thank our sponsors and so you guys can get your first round of popcorn and refreshments. We'll be right back, so please stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Precision Racing League here tonight, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, round number 4 of the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series. And for all those of you interested in being a part of the action, that means if you'd like to be one of the drivers for next season, check them out at precisionracingleague.com. You do have to race your way in, because they only take the best of the best. So if you think you have what it takes, be sure to check them out. Once again, precisionracingleague.com, and you're not going to be disappointed. And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you see on your screen right now, on the bottom right of the screen, that's the bottom right of the screen, there's a trophy right there. That's the trophy that's going to be presented to the new champion, or yeah, the champion at the end of this season. And that trophy was created by one of the drivers here, the 911 of John LaBeouf, who currently sits in the 4th place position. So once again, precisionracingleague.com. Well, going back to the race here, we still have James O'Brien in the race lead, 60 of Cotton Lane 2nd, Paul D. Johnson 3rd, John LaBeouf 4th, Kyle Souza 5th, Matthew Cisna 6th, Brandon Walter 7th, Dustin Hall 8th, Eddie Hawks 9th, and Trevor White rounding up the top 10. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we've lost one driver, 77 of Ken Caruthers. Ken Caruthers got loose, lost control of the machine, and smacked the wall, and decided to call it a night because of the heavy damage. His pit crew was going to have to spend so much time trying to get that machine back up and running. We look forward to seeing this driver and everybody else back next week at Bristol, and that's going to be a heck of a race as well. Bristol, it is quite the track.
Short track racing, Robin is racing.
Absolutely. Well, you know, in this case, you know, Bristol is known for drivers rubbing the walls more than they do rub each other, but we still look forward to seeing exactly what these drivers have in store for us next week. And that race is going to be entitled the Disabled Sim Wheels 175. That's the Disabled Sim Wheels 175. Well, here so far, the drivers now have 32 laps on their tires and tanks. Well, I should say 32 laps from the last time they last pitted in, which was last caution. So here before too long, ladies and gentlemen, green flag pit stops should kick in. So we are excited and looking forward to that. Looking there in the chat, Abbas Ladak, welcome back, Abbas Ladak. It has been a while. Well, it seems like it's been a while. Hope you're doing well. And for the 5th place spot, 5th place spot, we have a battle going on. 00 of Kyle Souza behind the 911 of John LaBeouf. They were side by side by back single file at the exact same time. 29 of Matthew Cisna. Early on, Matthew Cisna was riding there for the back in the pack, just trying to buy his time. But now this long green flag run is what he's been waiting for and looking for and hoping for. And with that said, he is shining. He is in the top 5. Top 10 after starting in the 14th place spot. And 00 Kyle Souza goes low, he taps the apron, goes back up high, no harm done. He loses some time against 911 of John LaBeouf, but he is still rolling.
I tell you what, take a look at the 94 Stephen Harry. We've seen him before we went to break where he spun out, but was able to save it, and we're under caution.
Oh,
that's
that involved
going to be
the
28 of Eric Roberts. As we pull up the Dre Broadcasting replay, focusing on the 28 of Eric Roberts, coming through turn 2, just the back end kicked out, tried to save it. Oh, almost, the 35 machine almost got involved. Let's go into the cockpit and see that, because he almost got involved with that. As we are here riding on the cockpit of the 35 of Collins here, as the 28 machine gets loose. Goes into a spin, he tries to correct it, and I mean, he just missed him by inches, but was able to avoid it.
Absolutely, man. Very unfortunate for the 28 of Eric Roberts. And also a great save by Rory Collins at the exact same time. And great awareness as usual by the drivers, not making that worse than it actually was. Well, here this caution is most likely, some drivers might be happy to see it, but some might not be. But this is now going to help everybody encourage everyone to pit in at the exact same time and be back on the exact same strategy, because we were coming to the end of the fuel run, and that's exactly why Eric Roberts' machine broke loose like that, because with it getting light, coming to the end of the fuel run, once again, the machines do end up getting even looser than they are when it comes to the tires going away. But James O'Brien leading everybody down pit road, and everybody is actually following. And in the chat, we have George Gibbs Jr. Welcome back, George Gibbs. Hope you're doing well. And some drivers staying out behind the pace car: Eric Roberts, Stephen Mattox, Stephen Walter, including Rory Collins, and one driver gets the wave around the pace car, the lucky dog, the 6 of Stephen Mattox, back on the lead lap on lap 61. So congrats to the 6 of Stephen Mattox. Here he is back and in it to win it in the Cobra machine, the Ford GT. He's ready to do some damage. And this, ladies and gentlemen, does give us time to get a race interview in. So let's focus on one of the drivers here up front. Let's actually focus on the 29 of Matthew Cisna. Well, ladies and gentlemen, joining us up here in the Dre Broadcasting booth is the 29 of Matthew Cisna. Gotta go up there, Matthew.
Hey, I'm here.
How you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Oh, doing good too, thank you. Well, Matthew, here tonight, you did start off keeping a heck of a low profile, but seemed like the long green flag runs seem to be working in your favor. How's the machine doing tonight?
It's doing really good. It's just a matter of not heating up your tires, especially the rear tires, and we're doing really good on long runs. So,
and also early,
catching everybody else, just watching them.
Almost definitely, man. And also, Matthew, early on, I noticed you were one of the few drivers who were attempting to get the outside line to work. How did that go?
Oh, it wasn't doing too bad up there. It's just something I do to. I've been running low too. I've just been running both lines.
Oh, copy that, man. Well, buddy, you've stayed alive here this far. You did start in the 14th place spot, moved up all the way to 6th before the first caution, before the caution had come out, and now something tells me you're not done taking names. With that said, where do you see yourself on lap 130?
I'd like to just get in top 5 here. I need a good finish. I missed one race and I kind of wrecked out another one, so we need a good finish.
Oh, 10-4, man. Well, we look forward to seeing that coming to play, that coming to life here tonight. And buddy, stay alive and keep doing exactly what you're doing. You're doing the right thing, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
And that was 22 of Matthew Cisna in the 8th place spot, starting behind the 37 of Dustin Hall. Well, we are now back 1 to green, ladies and gentlemen, being led by the 9 of James O'Brien. Right behind him is the 00 of Kyle Souza, assisting him on the inside line. On the outside, the 60 of Conton Lane with the help of the 911 of John LaBath. We are going green this time around.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give you a special treat here. That's right, it's time for the Crank It Up cams. So we are going to crank it up and let you hear these motors come to life.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, was the Crank It Up Cam, courtesy of the Dre Broadcasting Network with David Everly. Hope you guys enjoy listening to these V8 machines roar as one, roar and sing as one. But here, going back to the race, a lot of side-by-side going on. 9-11 of John LaBeouf on the outside line, high and dry, trying to fall back in line to avoid losing more spots. He lost a spot against 45 of Eddie Hawks, bumping himself down to the 7th place spot to a slow machine on the outside. 28 of Eric Roberts. He smacks the wall, but no harm done. Here we are, still green flag racing. Actually, that was not Eric Roberts. That was 78 of Ronald McManus.
Well, 62 laps to go. These guys are still going to have to pit one more time to be able to complete the race.
Yeah, and with the drivers having that in mind, it's all about strategy when it comes down to it. The final pit stop of the evening will be the very important one. In this case, many might try and run their tanks dry. Many might get the calculators out and try and figure out the best strategy possible. But so far, James O'Brien having a Sunday drive, almost a 1 second lead against second place driver 60 of Cotton Lane, who's about 0.9 seconds behind him. We have Dustin Hall, Kyle Souza here, single foul. Matthew Cisna on the outside against the 9-11 of John LaBeouf, was able to get around the 45 of Eddie Hawks again for the 6th place position. And now Cisna's next victim is the 00 of Kyle Souza. And when we spoke to the 29 of Matthew Cisna, he talked about how his goal for tonight's race is to have a heck of a finish. By that, he meant a top 5 or better. And so far, he is in the top 5, but 9-11 of John LaBeouf trying to crush that dream. Side by side, they go through turns number 3 and 4. Off turn 4, John LaBeouf has him, but slingshot is not enough by Matthew Cisna to make a difference just yet. And 23 of Craig Hawkins. Craig Hawkins has come a long way, new to the top 10 this time around, behind the 45 of Eddie Hawks. Last time we checked on Craig Hawkins, he was below the, he was out of the top 20. And right now he's currently in the 8th place spot from 26th, and the caution flies on lap 22.
Well, as we're going to go back, I believe that's going to involve the 61 of Josh Mayu. So let's pull up the Dre Broadcasting replay, see if we can figure out exactly who all was involved there. As we take a look here, it's 61. It actually started in front of him. Let's see if we can get back here and see who might have been involved in that. Oh, I can't get a number on that one here. So,
oh, that was the 3 of Dale Robertson.
The 3 of Dale Robertson. So, yeah, 3 of Dale Robertson, and then it was just everybody trying to check up. And unfortunately, the 21 and the 61 also involved in that.
Oh, man, that's unfortunate for every single driver involved in that. Oh, man, pit road is going to be a very busy place. A lot of drivers very unhappy about that outcome. But, man, looks like, yeah, it's all started with the exit of turn 2, the turn 2 wall. Now that does sneak up on a lot of drivers, especially when they're on the outside line, trying to make it work. But going back up front, everybody going down pit road this time around with only 14 laps on their tires and tanks. And James O'Brien was able to lead on and off pit road. I don't see any two-tire heroes just yet. Yes, everybody so far taking 4 tires, full tank of gas. They know how important those tires are when it comes to long green flag runs like we've had here in tonight's race so far. And behind James O'Brien, we had Dustin Hall, Kyle Souza, Matthew Cisna, and Eddie Hawks rounding up the top 5. So Cotton Lane lost that spot, or actually lost a bunch of spots to all these drivers, and is now shuffled back to about 7th or 8th place. So he's going to be trying to get those spots back once the green flag flies again. And ladies and gentlemen, this gives us time to get a race interview in. So let's focus on the 911 of John LaBeouf. Well, ladies and gentlemen, joining us up here in the Dre Broadcasting booth is the No Fear Racing driver 911 of John LaBeouf. Got a copy there, buddy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
How you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good.
Well, John, tonight has been a heck of a show on your part. Your machine seems to be one of the faster ones out there. How's the race going so far, man?
It's going pretty good. I had a little mishap on the last pit stop, slid through the pit stall, but I'll recover.
Oh, 10-4, man. That's great to hear. Very, very determined. Very determined. We always love to see that. And also, how's the machine handling tonight, man? Because we've seen a lot of drivers getting very loose, specifically between turns 3 and 4.
My car's pretty tight in 3 and 4, a little too tight, so it's causing a little bit of pushing. I got to stay out of it a little bit, but once I get the run going, I can carry the speed down the straightaway where I need it.
Oh, 10-4, man. Well, sounds like a fast machine here you have. And, buddy, we heard, we actually want to say, great job on the trophy that you had done for the new upcoming champion this season. Want to tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, I decided to throw a little trophy together to give back to the league. The league's done a lot for me. It's been a great league to run with. So we run break for the Christmas and New Year's break there. I decided to whip together a little, well, I shouldn't say little, it's 2 feet tall and 16 inches wide, but it's just something to give to the guys that have joined us and the guys that run with us. Gives them a little more incentive to run with us.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, that's a great thing you're doing. Very commendable. Also want to thank you here from the Dre Broadcasting Network. And ladies and gentlemen, that trophy you see right before you on the bottom right of your screen, the new champion is going to be getting that trophy. Just imagine that. And John, we got a chance to say hello to Dee LaBeouf. She was in the chat there early on. She talked about how she's in the hospital, and also just reminded her that, you know, the Dre Broadcasting Network, the PRL, everyone has her in their thoughts and prayers. So, buddy, once again, also thank you for staying very strong and keeping her going every single day. Well, buddy, you are now 1 to green, so good luck to you and make us proud as usual.
Appreciate it, guys.
That was 911 of John LaBeouf, counting the 7th place spots, but up front, that pace car is going to be dipping off here before too long. Yes, pace car dips off, and LaBeouf, James O'Brien, finds the gas pedal immediately. 0 of Kyle Souza was caught sleeping. 37 of Dustin Hall goes back down to the inside to defend 2nd place spot against Souza, and the 29 of Cisna. And right now, they are now side by side, Souza and Cisna, that is, for the 3rd place spot on the exit of turn 2.
Well, taking a look here, Sean, I mean, we got 54 laps to go tonight's race, but these guys are still going to have to pit one more time, I do believe. I don't believe they're going to be able to go 54 laps on a tank of fuel.
Yeah, it's going to make things extra interesting. That's going to throw quite the loophole in these drivers, either driving style, strategy, or even both when it really comes down to it. And as we speak, 23 of Craig Hawkins trying to make his presence known. He is new to the top 5. He's come a very long way. He's the heaviest mover this far, from 26th to 5th, gaining 21 spots this far and still gaining spots, or at least trying to. And right now he has a roadblock between the 2 drivers battling, Cisna and Souza. He's trying to just follow the fastest line, or the line that seems to be faster. And so far on the outside line, Kyle, that's going to be Matthew Cisna. He will edge out the 0 of Kyle Souza, but in the turns, the inside is the shorter way around the track, but Slingshot engaged in the exit of turn 2 against him by Matthew Cisna, and still side by side, entering turn 3. And look at this, Dave, because these 2 drivers are battling, it's actually bunching up the rest of the field behind. So here we have Craig Hawkins, John LaBeouf, Paul D. Johnson, Stephen Harry. These drivers are now catching up. They're very, very close to the rear ends of the 4th and 5th place drivers, Cessna and Kyle Souza. A lot of side-by-side going on. Paul D. Johnson, John LaBeouf, 23 of Craig Hawkins and Kyle Souza. And Matt Cessna seems to be propelling on the outside. Oh, the caution flies here on lap 81. Gonna see exactly who might have been involved.
Oh, that's going to involve the 55 of Stephen Walter as we go back to the Dre Broadcasting Instant Replay. Let's take a look here, focusing on the 55 machine. As he was running up next to the wall, he went down. Looked like maybe contact between him and the 33 machine. And he went around, but no other vehicles involved.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, they're very unfortunate for the drivers involved in that. I also noticed the 21 of Trevor White was smoking heavily from the rear end. Oh, yeah, he made contact with the out-of-control driver, the 55 of Stephen Walter, and had to go down pit road smoking heavily, and is now on pit road. Trevor White getting that damage fixed. Hopefully they are able to eliminate that smoke before too long, because the race is still going. 49 laps left in tonight's race. Well, going back up front, James O'Brien in the lead, Dustin Hall second, Matthew Cessna third, Craig Hawkins fourth, and Kyle Souza in the 5th place spot. But these drivers just pitted in about 9 laps ago, so they might stay out, they might go on pit road, but James O'Brien going down pit road. Let's see how many follow. It looks like the majority of the field following James O'Brien down pit road, but we have the 3 of Darrell Robertson staying out and takes over the race lead this time around on lap 83. And this would be a good time to get another race interview in. So let's focus on one of the heaviest movers here in the Survivors, 94 of Stephen Harry. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are being joined up in the Dre Broadcasting booth by 94 of Stephen Harry. Get up there, Stephen. Stephen Harry, get up there, buddy. Oh, unfortunately, we won't be able to get a word in with the 94 of Stephen Harry. We're going to keep trying before the race ends tonight. We're going to pass it on. Let's go. Let's actually interview the 99. Actually, let me actually first find out whether or not we're going to be going 1 to green this time by. Okay, the lights on the pace car are still turned on. So let's focus on the 99 of Brandon Walter. Well, ladies and gentlemen, joining us up here in the Dre Broadcasting booth is a 99 of Brandon Walter. Got to come up there, Brandon?
Copy, got you there.
How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good. Just kind of cruising, trying to just keep moving up.
Oh, so far it seems like it is working. And Brandon, your machine seems to be one of the best handling machines out there. I see a lot of drivers struggling, getting loose, getting tight. But you yourself do not seem to be having that much difficulty. What went into preparing for this race?
Well, we just kind of, as a team, we just kind of tested, been going over different setups. So I just told myself to just keep clean, keep going, and see how the race goes. Car is definitely good on the long run, but it's quite loose, so we'll see how it goes.
Oh, copy that. And it seems like you guys might be needing one more pit stop in order to be able to make it the rest of the way. What are your plans and for the end of the race? What are your expectations?
Well, I know there's going to be another caution. We're going to definitely have. I'm going to take 4 tires anytime I can, but getting down about 15-10 to go, it's kind of a gamble. So might shoot for 2, but we'll see.
Oh, copy that, man. Well, buddies, congratulations on staying alive here this far. You have come a long way and been very consistent. We look forward to seeing you in victory lane.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And thanks for broadcasting.
That was 99 of Brandon Walter, currently in the 9th place spot, starting behind the 00 of Kyle Souza. Well, we are back 1 to green as promised. Darrell Robertson is still in the lead because he did not pit in. So he's going to have 9 laps more on his tires compared to everybody else out there. This might be a good thing, might not affect him at all. We're going to find out exactly how this affects him, if it does. So Darrell Robertson with the help of 14 of Paul D. Johnson on the inside. On the outside is a 9 of James O'Brien with the help of the 37 of Dustin Hall. Well, we're about to find out, so fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen, going green. The pace car dips off and Robertson finds the gas pedal immediately, gets a great restart against everybody out there and leaves a butt of second place between 14 of Paul D. Johnson and the 9 of James O'Brien. But Paul D. Johnson is in the preferred race group on a restart, but James O'Brien is going to have a power move against him on the exit of turn 2 and leaving enough room for the 37 of Dustin Hall to follow his footsteps, and they are going around 14 of Johnson like a freight train. And here the 23 of Craig Hawkins behind the 29 of Matthew Cisner, now side by side to his inside. So far, drivers taking while they can, because ladies and gentlemen, these tires are at their newest in this run. So the drivers trying to take advantage of the grip, because this is the maximum grip they'll have on these tires. Because here, the more the race goes, the less the grip they'll have, and that means they'll have to either change up their racing styles and not push it as much. And here 9-11 of John LaBeouf behind 23 of Craig Hawkins, and 3 of Robertson lost the race lead against James O'Brien. Yep, Darrell Robertson goes from 1st place to 4th place in 1 lap and still under fire from both 23 of Craig Hawkins and 9-11 of John LaBeouf. Oh, Robertson on the apron. Is he going to save it? Yes, he saves it. How did he save that?
He's a good driver, that's for sure, because that was a wild ride, but he was able to save it. Now we got a little bit of 3 wide here on the front stretch.
Oh man, James O'Brien in the middle, Matthew Cisner on the inside, John LaBeouf on the outside, James O'Brien, Darrell Robertson backs it down, they go back double wide, actually now single foul, but Kyle Souza still on the outside of Darrell Robertson, side by side on the backstretch. Oh man, once again, nice save by Darrell Robertson. I actually thought that was it. He actually chopped the nose off of John LaBeouf as a result. But great awareness by John LaBeouf, giving him enough room to save that. And now Darrell Robertson all the way down to 8th place. And Brandon Walter right behind him. Brandon Walter is on fresher stickers, new tires, full tank of gas, has more grip, has more speed. And behind him is the 6 of Steven Mattox. And Steven Mattox there early on was 1 lap down. He got his lap back with a lucky dog and is now back in the top 10. And ladies and gentlemen, 40 laps remaining. That is 40 laps remaining. 91 laps complete. It might be go time for some of these drivers with at least one more pit stop being expected from the drivers. And 11 of Brandon Massey on the outside line behind the that's gonna be the 99 of Brandon Walter past the 6 of Steven Mattox. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this would be a good time to get a race in to take a final commercial break. Just can't speak. I do apologize. We'll be right back, so please stay tuned.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's race here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, round number 4 of the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series, brought to you by the Precision Racing League.com. And so for all those of you that are interested in being a part of the action, if you guys would like to be one of the drivers next season, check them out at PrecisionRacingLeague.com to find out all the information that you guys need. They do run open setups, and you guys have to race your way in. So you have to be on your A game and race your way in to make it, because they do take only the best of the best, and they cap their fields at a size of 36 drivers. So 36 drivers maximum and no more than that. And going back to the race, we are under caution, and it involved the 28 of Eric Roberts and 41 of Chris Perez. There, looks like the wall claimed one of the drivers and caused the chain reaction. Very unfortunate. But now, if everybody pits in this time, they should and will be able to make it the remainder of the way. 31 laps remaining. But here behind the pace car, we have Rory Collins, Stephen Walter, and Cotton Lane. Cotton Lane had some bad luck. He ended up losing connection and had to get back here, and as a result ended up going 4 laps down. So he's really hoping to get these laps back before the race ends. So once again, only 31 laps remaining here in tonight's race. And Rory Collins is now going down a pit road. So it looks like he won't be getting the wave round. And Stephen Walter is staying out. He does have 18 laps on his tires and tank, but he's deciding to stay out to get the wave round behind the pace car. Once the lights on the pace car do turn off, once we get the 1 to go mark. But the bad thing about that, or the downside to his decision right there, is that he will not be able to go down pit road for his final pit stop of the evening. So he'll be having to pit in one more time once the green flag flies. But so far we are being led by James O'Brien, Dustin Hall 2nd, John LaBeouf 3rd, Craig Hawkins 4th, Poe D. Johnson 5th, Matthew Cisna 6th, Kyle Souza 7th, Brandon Walter 8th, Brandon Massey 9th, and Zachary York in the 10th place spot, rounding up the top 10. And there early on, during one of the incidents, 19 of Zachary York was involved. Wrong place, wrong time, sustained some heavy damage, but has still been able to keep up the pace and be competitive despite that. And he is in the 10th place spot after starting in the 25th place position, starting behind the 99 of Brandon Walter on the upcoming restart. And around the pace car, Stephen Walter and Carlton Lane go, getting one lap back. And in the chat, we have a new viewer tuning in, John Marine. Welcome back tonight. Hope you're doing well. Absolutely, yeah. A few banged up cars, John. Yeah, Robbins Racing, and it's been looks like the machines are quite loose. Yeah, we have so many loose machines out there, more loose than tight. And they've been trying to fight that for the longest time, a lot of them. But unfortunately, some got claimed by some of the walls out there, specifically turn 2. Well, in this lineup, James O'Brien with the help of John LaBeouf on the inside. On the outside, Dustin Hall with the help of 23 of Craig Hawkins going green this time by. And once we go green, a 28-lap shootout coming up. And that pace car dips off. James O'Brien finds the gas pedal. He does catch everybody off guard, but Dustin Hall sees it coming in time to maintain second place against John LaBeouf and 23 of Craig Hawkins, who are now side by side for third place between turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's go time, 28 laps to go. So they got to get a move on because these laps are going to be ticking down in a hurry. Running 30-second lap time, so you're looking 2 laps a minute.
Yep, go time indeed. Once again, we talked about, ladies and gentlemen, how the drivers are going to be able to make it for only for those who pitted in during the last caution we just had. So with that said, you know, having one less thing on your mind at this point now is to just have 2 things on their minds, is to, you know, keep their feet down the floor and keep these machines straight at the exact same time. Try to avoid getting loose, because these machines are loose, and the drivers have been fighting that for a long time. John LaBeouf behind 37 of Dustin Hall, charging up to his rear view, to his back bumper at the exact same time. James O'Brien trying to pull away from the rest of the field, because he's been leading for the longest time. Well, he's led the most laps this far. And Dave, what about the mid-race report?
Yeah, taking a look at the race report. We've had 5 cautions now. Leaders James O'Brien, and 4 lead changes.
Oh, indeed. 4 lead changes, and maybe even some to come. But yep, James O'Brien up front. His lead keeps increasing with every single lap as John LaBeouf gets ever closer to the rear end of Dustin Hall for the second place position. They might either work together or maybe battle it out. Yes, John LaBeouf on the inside of Dustin Hall, side by side. On the outside, Dustin Hall slingshot engaged past the exit of turn 2, entering turn 3. Might have him. Nope, he does not. And John LaBeouf still on the inside of Dustin Hall, side by side. And look at that, this is attracting a lot of attention. 14 of Paul D. Johnson trying to get a piece of this action behind 911 of John LaBeouf, side by side to his inside, entering turn 1. This puts a big smile on both the faces of Dustin Hall and James O'Brien. And for the back in this pack, 00 of Kyle Souza, 11 of Brandon Massey, side by side for 7th place. We have Brandon Massey on the outside line, Kyle Souza on the inside, slingshot past Kyle Souza. The caution flies on lap 108. Gonna see what happened.
Well, that's going to be the 19 of Zachary York here as we pull up the Dre Broadcasting replay. Yep, that's going to unfortunately unfortunate there for the 19 of Zach York. As we take a look at him running the outside lane here, coming out of turn 2, the car just broke loose. Unfortunately, he also made contact with the 60 of Colton Lane, but that is going to be a caution, so this is going to shake things up with 23 laps to go.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, very unfortunate for Zachary York. And I should admit, man, I've seen Zachary York more sideways than straight on the exit of turn 2. Every single time we focused on him, it looks like he had one of the looser machines out there, and unfortunately just broke loose beyond control during that last lap. But hopefully he still has enough speed and enough left under the tank to do more damage to the track in terms of competition. But he is going down pit road as we speak. Actually, everybody down pit road, everybody on the lead lap down pit road this time around.
Looks like maybe the 911 of John LaBeouf missed his pit stall, as he is already up and off pit road.
Oh, yep, seems like it. He was taking over the race lead this time around, but having 9 lap older tires, or 9 laps more on his tires and tank compared to everybody out there, he might be going down pit road the next time around, or he might stay out. But either way, we're about to find out. And the driver in line for the lucky dog this time is going to be the 35 of Rory Collins once we cross start-finish line. So here so far we have 19 drivers on the lead lap. Rory Collins first driver 1 lap down. Stephen Walter 1 lap down as well in the 21st place spot. Carlton Lane was able to get 1 lap back during the last caution. We have Ron McManus in the 23rd place spot, but he is on pit road. Trevor White as well on pit road. Ken Caruthers, Sean Timmerman. These drivers unfortunately had an early night tonight. But once again, we look forward to seeing them back again next week for Bristol. And going back to John LaBeouf deciding to stay out with 21 laps left and 9 laps more on his tires more than everybody else. But this might not be as bad as we might think, so fingers crossed for that. And ladies and gentlemen, it is go time at this point. So once we go green the next time around, be sure to buckle up, put on at least 3 to 4 seat belts, because 1 or 2 will not do the trick. So much action. Hopefully you're going to be able to keep up. And here scanning the whole field so far, the heaviest movers we have: John LaBeouf from 16th to 1st, Craig Hawkins from 26th to 6th. We have Eddie Hawks from 15th to 9th, Matthew Cisner from 14th to 10th, Danny Duchesne 17th to 13th, Stephen Harry 20th to 14th, Zachary York 25th to 18th, Stephen Walter 24th to 20th. And I talked about how Stephen Walter was being shown 1 lap down. Yes, he is still 1 lap down. He's behind the 60 of Carlton Lane here, who is behind the pace car. So both drivers trying to get 1 lap back with the 1 to go mark. Well, we are back 1 to green. Stephen Walter and 60 Carlton Lane get the wave around the pace car. Stephen Walter back on the lead lap. Carlton Lane 2 laps down from 3 laps down. Well, originally from 4 laps down. That's great to see him. These drivers getting their laps back before the race is over. But back up front, John LaBeouf in the lead with the help of 37 of Dustin Hall. Kyle Souza on the outside with the help of the 9 of James O'Brien. And absolutely, yep, completely different tracks. Going from Las Vegas, a high-speed track, to a short track, Bristol. That's going to be quite the something to adapt to for these drivers. So much practice will be needed, and also retweaking all the setups and relearning everything when it comes down to it. So be sure to be there, ladies and gentlemen, next week, round number 5, Bristol Motor Speedway for the disabled Sim Wheels 175, and check out the league at the PrecisionRacingLeague.com. We are going green this time by. Now that pace car dips of LaBeouf did not hesitate. 3 wide for second place. Dustin Hall, Kyle Souza, 9 of James O'Brien. Kyle Souza was caught sleeping and went from 2nd place to about 5th place here in one lap. A lap at the moment is trying to catch a grip, trying to catch a groove, trying to get back into it behind the 9 of James O'Brien. But for the back in this pack, 11 of Brandon Massey behind 99 of Brandon Walter. Walter here behind 23 of Craig Hawkins at the exact same time. 45 of Eddie Hawks already making some moves against 11 of Massey. Already up front, Dave Butter for the lead. We have the 37 of Dustin Hall taking over the race lead on lap 113. Well, we talked about the 9-lap older tires, how they were going to play quite the factor against John LaBeouf, who we're not quite sure. But looks like, yes, the tires are very, very important, just like we had talked about there early on in the race. And as we speak, John LaBeouf not in the clear just yet. James O'Brien to his inside, but James O'Brien bringing the 00 of Kyle Souza with him. And yes, Kyle Souza goes down low to occupy the inside of John LaBeouf, but LaBeouf goes back down low to defend that spot against him at the exact same time. Craig Hawkins making his presence known in the rear view of the 911 of LaBeouf. And status check on the 41 of Chris Perez. Chris Perez got a piece of the action during one of the cautions we had. He is currently running the 12th place spot behind 27 of Danny Duchesne. Despite the damage that Perez sustained, his machine has still been able to keep up and be competitive. And 33 of David Dreckman right behind, applying pressure. Oh, LaBeouf sideways off the exit of turn 4. Is he wrecking off the track? Yes, he is in the grass. The green flag is still out. Oh, man. And that was a heck of a save by John LaBeouf. And great save on his part, once again, keeping us green flag racing. Well, going back up front, Dustin Hall still in the lead. James O'Brien 2nd, Craig Hawkins 3rd, Brandon Massey 4th, and Kyle Souza in that 5th place spot, rounding out the top 5 this far. And status check on John LaBeouf. John LaBeouf just went from the top 5 to about 19th place, unfortunately, in one lap, being the last driver on the lead lap. It's very unfortunate. He worked so hard to get up there. Hopefully, he still has enough time to do some damage here to the field to get back somewhere up there. You know, these drivers are very tough. It is easier said than done getting the job done. So fingers crossed for John LaBeouf. And now 13 laps remaining. And ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys are enjoying the show here live on the Dre Broadcasting Network with the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series, brought to you by the PrecisionRacingLeague.com. So check them out. You will not be disappointed. And once again, for the viewers who are just now tuning in, you guys can be a part of this action. You have to race your way in once the season ends, because they take only the best of the best, and they cap their fields at only 36 drivers. So 36 drivers maximum, and no more than that. And for the new viewers out there to the Dre Broadcasting Network, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you get notified every single time we go live, because we are live at least 4 nights a week. So you guys are kept entertained almost every single day of the week. And for the existing and or returning viewers, welcome back to the Dre Broadcasting Network. Without you guys, we are nothing. We can never thank you guys enough. So once again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts here at the Dre Broadcasting Network. And 94 of Stephen Harry overtaking the 45 of Eddie Hawks. And Eddie Hawks is falling back quite a bit. So it looks like he either burned up his stuff or is trying to save.
Yeah, and just 10 laps to go. James O'Brien, he has gotten around Dustin Hall and is already starting to pull out. Can he hold off? James O'Brien leading 104 of lap sprint already ran. So that's a lot of laps here tonight.
Oh, indeed, man. And he continues leading more and more laps as Dustin Hall tries to catch up to him and take back that race lead that was rightfully his a couple of laps back. Dustin Hall, that is. And now they are about 7/10 of a second apart. And Dustin Hall is definitely in the draft range of James O'Brien. And so far, looks like Dustin Hall is following the same race line of James O'Brien, trying to follow the exact same line and correct any mistakes that James O'Brien might make, and benefiting himself in the process. And Dustin Hall representing the Simtech Racing team as usual. And here we have Brandon Massey moving up to 4th place, Craig Hawkins 3rd, Kyle Souza still in the 5th place spot, and now 8 laps remaining.
Yeah, pretty much everybody spread out. The question is, can Brandon Massey get to the 23 of Craig Hawkins to get himself on the pole, as he is right about 1.2 seconds behind Dustin Hall, or actually he's only 0.3 seconds behind Craig Hawkins, so he's gaining up on a little bit of ground here as we are now 8 laps to go.
And some more drivers here very close to each other in the back of the pack. Well, not for mid-pack. Darrell Robertson here with 45 of Eddie Hawks, 14 of Paul D. Johnson, David Dreckman. These drivers in a cluster of their own. 14 of Johnson watching a battle from the shotgun seat between Robertson and 45 of Eddie Hawks. But Hawks made a mistake on the exit of turn 2 and lost the spot to the 3 of Robertson and the 14 of Johnson. And now Johnson is trying to pounce on the 3 of Darrell Robertson. Robertson had some bad luck early on where he decided to stay out and had a lot more laps on his tires and tank compared to everybody else, and lost the lead in only a lap or 2. And here is currently trying to hold off 14 of Johnson, who gets around him. With 6 laps remaining, ladies and gentlemen, 100% take and 0% give. No friendship whatsoever. Everything's been broken at this point. It's every man for himself, every man for themselves. We have James O'Brien up front with a 1.6 second lead against Dustin Hall. Looks like James O'Brien has had quite the Sunday drive here tonight. One of the fastest machines out there. The Napa Auto Parts Chevy Camaro. And he has been shining here tonight. And here we have Matthew Cisna here in the 14th place spot, about 8 seconds behind the leader. And he's trying to catch up to the 27 of Danny Duchesne. And at this point, if a caution comes out, that ends the race. So 5 laps to go. Next flag ends the race. These drivers know that at this point it's time to be in the right place at the right time, trying to get as high up as you can, so if a caution comes out you can be satisfied. And here we have in about the 8th place spot, Paul D. Johnson. He is actually increasing the gap between him and the 3 of Darrell Robertson for the 8th place spot.
Yeah, but we got a cluster right up in front of him. Kyle Souza got the 99 of Brandon Walter, the 94 of Stephen Harry, as they are going to be battling for the 5th, 6th, and 7th. Brandon Massey, he's closing the gap, only 2/10 behind Craig Hawkins here with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, Brandon Walter trying to set up Kyle Souza. Yes, he goes to his inside. Side by side they'll go, entering turn 3. Kyle Souza on the outside will prepare with the slingshot off turn 4. He goes sideways. No, Kyle Souza's losing it. Oh, he saves it. Oh, man, all speed, all momentum lost. And 2 spots lost, namely to Brandon Walter and 94 of Stephen Harry. Oh man, very unfortunate for the 00 of Kyle Souza, but once again, heck of a save and under pressure from the 14 of Paul D. Johnson. Yes, Johnson gets around successfully and bumps Souza down to 8th.
That's unfortunate, but great driving there by the 00 of Souza, keeping that car going straight, as it looks like James O'Brien is got the white flag final lap here at Las Vegas.
But some trouble on the track with 33 of David Dreckman. No harm done. We are still rolling. But James O'Brien entering turn 3 for the final time here in tonight's race with a 2.6 second lead so far against 2nd place driver as of last lap, Dustin Hall. But on the exit of turn number 4, James O'Brien brings this thing home unchallenged here tonight. And Dustin Hall comes out second place. Craig Hawkins third. Brandon Massey fourth. We have Brandon Walter fifth. Stephen Harry sixth. Paul D. Johnson 7th, Kyle Souza 8th, Gary Robertson 9th, and Eddie Hawks in the 10th place spot. What a heck of a race, ladies and gentlemen, and a heck of a finish here tonight. It has been our pleasure here at the Dre Broadcasting Network, round number 4, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Well, we're going to ride with James O'Brien for his victory lap, and hopefully we'll see a smoke show here before too long. And also stay tuned, we're going to be interviewing the top 3 drivers, James O'Brien, Dustin Hall, and Craig Hawkins. Well, ladies and gentlemen, joining us up in the Dre Broadcasting booth are the top 3 drivers, James O'Brien, Dustin Hall, and Craig Hawkins. As we see right there, James O'Brien burning the sucker down.
I ain't got no motor left, it's about to blow up.
10-4. Well, buddy, heck of a race on your part here tonight. How's your experience?
Tiring. That was really fast race, even with all the cautions we had. It was it just went by really quick, so you had to think really like on your feet the whole time, and the track changed really drastically from the start, so there was a lot of adjustments that you had to do to keep up with it.
Oh, most definitely. And James, this gives you your first win of the season here, round number 4. I want to congratulate you on that. And also, man, you led the most laps tonight. Very impressive. And, you know, despite your machine not being the best with every single lap, you know, like talked about, it was changing and handling. How were you able to still stay consistent and also maintain your race lead and also increase your race lead at the exact same time all race long?
A lot of practice the last 2 weeks building this setup. David Dreckham and then Paul Johnson and Chris Perez and Brandon Walter. We all just kept our heads down and kept practicing, turning laps, read data. It kind of went a little hardcore on it, and we thought last night we built or finished the perfect setup. So the base setup was there. And all we had to do today was change a little bit of tire pressure, track bar before the race, and not much else.
Oh, 10-4, man. Yep, that practice definitely paid off, man. Congrats on your success and leading the most laps. And once again, winning your first race of the season. We look forward to seeing a lot more wins from you. But James, next week we are shifting gears to a totally different beast. We're going to have to basically build a new setup and relearn the machine and the track. That's going to be Bristol. What are your expectations?
I've never really liked Bristol, but I've always been pretty quick there. I'll be honest, those tracks make me dizzy, but I usually finish pretty well there, so it's a lot of fun. I just hope we can have less cautions.
Well, congrats on your success here tonight, James, doing the road trip racing team extra proud. First win right here. A lot more wins to come. Oh, before I let you go any final words?
I just want to thank my entire team. Especially David, he is a genius when it comes to setups, and we're glad to have him on board helping us out. Me and him just brainstorm constantly. We're always talking to each other about adjustments that could be made and experiments, and without him, none of this would have happened.
Well, congrats once again on your success and doing the road trip racing extra proud. Well, go celebrate and see you again next week at Bristol.
Thanks, man.
And that was James O'Brien. But next in line is the Simtech Racing driver, Dustin Hall. Get up there, buddy.
Yeah, I got you.
How you doing tonight?
Hey, pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Well, buddy, heck of a race on your part here tonight. Staying very consistent, staying alive despite the very, very strange conditions out there. When I say strange, I just mean the relationship between the machine and the track changing with every single lap, and you having to be on your toes all race long. What was the contributor to your success tonight?
To be honest with you, I have no idea what I'm doing in the top 3 tonight. I did not have the car for it. If you're asking what I can attribute it to, I would say mistakes by faster cars. I drove a good race and didn't make the mistakes that some of those guys did, and they gift wrapped it. Yeah, they gift wrapped it for me. So I give the credit to them.
Oh, most definitely, man. Well, congrats on your success here tonight. And when you think about it, going back to your race tonight, if you were to redo something to maybe move up one spot higher by the end of the race, what would you think would be needing to be changed?
I needed more practice leading into this race. Personal life kind of took a turn and cut into practice time, and I didn't get any track time until yesterday afternoon. So definitely track time. It showed that Road Trip Racing team was fast. All of their cars were fast, and it shows. They put in the practice, they put in the work, and it shows. If you're willing to put in the work, you're going to reap the reward.
Absolutely, man. Nicely said. Well, congrats on your success, man. Despite you not having as much practice as you said you wish you had, you are still able to finish on the podium. Which makes me wonder, what if you had the practice that you needed? So much more damage would be done in terms of competition on your part. Well, before we go, man, any final words?
Yeah, I just want to shout out to Johnny. Johnny Pierce is down. He's under the weather. We missed him this week. Missed you, buddy. Also, James, great racing with you there at the end, man. That's how it should be, and that's how I hope we can address it moving forward, man. I really appreciate it. You had it hooked up tonight, man. Big shout out. Also, as always, Chris Roberts over at Overclock, a guy. I just listen to him and hope to absorb half of what he's telling me. He's just he's very smart with this stuff, and I really appreciate him.
Well, congrats on your success once again, Dustin, and see you again next week at Bristol. And have a good night, buddy. Go celebrate.
That's it for it, bud. Thank you.
And that was the Simtech Racing driver, Dustin Hall. But next in line is Blown Gasket Racing driver 23 of Craig Hawkins. You up there, buddy?
I got you.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. Long night of racing.
Oh man, Craig, tonight you were the heaviest mover. Every single time we focused on you, you were either overtaking somebody, or pretty much making moves all race long. How was your race tonight?
Well, we started out with a really loose car, and we kept on adjusting on it, kept on tightening it up, and both of my teammates, Zach and Steven, they told me what to adjust on the car. Then we got it all fixed, and that baby just was fast and everything. I made the top 10, top 5, and now I finished those.
Oh, indeed, man. Great teamwork by you guys, especially you as a driver, man. It all comes down to the driver behind the wheel, controlling that machine. You come from 26th once again to 3rd place, gaining 23 spots overall. And here tonight, despite the loose conditions, in what seems to be your the biggest challenge when it came to your machine tonight?
We're just trying to just have control of it or not, and we just the biggest challenge was just trying to get it tightened up, Sean. I mean, every time we went to the pit stop, my picker did an amazing job all night. They tightened it up for me, and at the end we just got it done, Sean. But hopefully I never have a car to start out a race like that again. That was just freaking horrible.
I can imagine, man. Well, buddy, congrats on being able to keep that machine under you, well, keep it under control and be fast at the exact same time, making up a lot of time all race long, staying alive and being there for the very end. And on in the beginning there, we noticed you had some right front damage. That was about 5 laps in. How did you feel the machine handled after the damage on the right side?
To be honest with you, it actually felt better. I mean, I was before the damage, I couldn't tone it in 3 and 4. The natural T damage, that thing toned like amazing. I don't know. I guess it's the downforce of the car, this new update they did, but that damage, it just made that car a whole lot better in tone 3 and 4.
Oh, copy that. The only time that having a damaged machine pays off. We're glad that you were able to be able to stay alive tonight and be extra successful, gaining 23 spots overall and being the heaviest mover. Well, Craig, before we let you go, man, any final words?
Yeah, man. I just want to thank you and David for the broadcast tonight, and I want to give a shout out to my team, Beyond Gasket Racing, with Zach and Steven and all the guys that came out tonight. Just a good race overall. And I'm ready for next week.
Well, once again, congratulations on your success here tonight, Craig, and see you again next week, 2 spots higher.
Thank you, man. Good night.
And that was 23 of Craig Hawkins with the Blown Gasket Racing team. So James O'Brien Road Trip Racing, Craig Hawkins Blown Gasket Racing, and the 37 of Dustin Hall with the Semtech Racing team. So 3 different teams in the top 3 here tonight on the podium. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in here tonight. It was a heck of a race, and we had, unfortunately, some drivers had some bad luck there early on, and we look forward to them having a better race next week at Bristol, which is, you know, a more challenging track, but we look forward to them having a better race there. We had Cotton Lane, Matthew Siston, they have some bad luck early on, including Ronald McManus, Stephen Mattox. But it is always amazing seeing these guys, and we were missing some drivers like Daniel Wilborn, and also that was our post sitter, our points leader, Johnny Pierce. We look forward to seeing these drivers back with us before too long. And this was round number 4, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And the next race, once again, next week, round 5, Bristol Motor Speedway, the disabled Sim Wheels 175. That's disabled Sim Wheels 175 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Well, thank you very much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. And Dave, any thoughts?
Great race, always with this league, so can't wait for next week.
And you see right there, ladies and gentlemen, on your screen, the big trophy. It's going to the champion, the new champion who will be crowned by the end of this season. That's enough motivation, extra motivation for the drivers to get the job done. So we're going to see exactly how that plays out, and thank you to John LaBeouf for creating that amazing looking trophy right there. Just imagine how that looks in person. I am Sean Zulu and David Everly behind the cameras. Thank you very much for watching. Check out the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series at precisionracingleague.com for all the information that you guys need to be a part of the action with the PRL. The next broadcast is going to be tomorrow night. That's tomorrow night, round 11, the Extreme Motorsports KNN Series, Talladega Super Speedway. I am Sean Zulu and David Everly behind the cameras, and thank you for watching. Have a good night.